All right, what is up, everybody? So, Shadow Scout 0013 here, coming in at you just for an intro. If you want to just fast forward and get to the content itself, you can. But if you're interested, you can head on over to the Discord now. The link is all in the description down below, as well as the timestamp, just in case you are interested in fast forwarding. But if you want to join up to the Discord, that'd be great. The more people, the better. We've got a general chat, we've got rules questions, we've got everything, including Legion battle reports. So if you do battle reports, feel free to post them in here. I love seeing, the photos and the lists and even videos that you guys do. If you do them, I watch and I read and I look at these photos and kind of comment myself on them because I love hearing what works, what doesn't work, what people did, and how they did, and if there's any improvements that they ask for, I can definitely chime in with what I think. And then if you've got any ideas for Empire, feel free to post them. We've got some guys who want to run Blizzard Force, which is awesome. They have an 11-act list. There's another 11-act Empire list with Callus Double Bounty, and just kind of talking about them. They're really fun. So if you've got ideas, feel free to post them, and you're going to have a lot of us kind of chime in and talk a little bit about what you've got. Also, if you're painting or like to paint, you can head on over here, post the things that you want to paint, and if you've got questions about stuff, like I wanted to know what kind of black gray paint would be closest to here, and everyone was chiming in and saying exactly what they thought. And if you do commission work, feel free to post the commission sites that you've got so that we can all kind of see what you do, and maybe even contact you for some stuff. And if you game, play TTS, this is the place for you to be able to look for a game and kind of get someone to play with you. Also, head on over to the Clan of Shadows Patreon. There, you're going to be able to help me grow this channel and do some more giveaways, and then get more ideas and do more for the people who help with this channel. So, like some of the moderators, like Canadian Bear and the Chosen One and Emperor Atlantis, they've done so much for this channel, and I want to be able to help them out, and they want to do more. So if you guys can help and chip in and become a member, you're going to be able to get videos early and be able to kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. And once I get someone here to be able to do battle reports, they will come out here as well. So please come on and join up. Also, you're going to be able to get the order tokens if you want. They're going to be 10% off with the discount code Shadow Scout. You can come on over here. Let me give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So that is just a small little sneak peek of how big they are, and then this is a sneak peek of what's going to be on the back and what's going to be on the front. And it's really cool to see that design on there. Basically, ComScan is an Etsy store selling the best Star Wars Legion order tokens in the galaxy, pairing the satisfying tactile qualities of a casino chip with high-definition graphics that could come straight from the bridge of the profundity. You'll be using improvised orders just so you can keep drawing from the bag because they're so awesome. So go check out the Etsy store that is on here. He's got some amazing order tokens, so it would be awesome if you guys supported him, which would support me, and it would be great. And also, you can head on over to theburnacademy.com and subscribe for $15 a month, which is 50 cents a day, to be able to get a personal trainer at your fingertips. Ask questions. You're going to get 3, 4, 5, and 6-day week workout programs, corrective exercise stuff, 30-minute torture program in case you're short on time. There's abs and cardio. There's any future program that comes out will be given to you. And then there's lots of ways to track your progress. There's over 120 different recipes and videos of the exercises, and even coaching videos showing you what a 2 to 12 is, or what a German volume training means. So yeah, head on over there and help support me. But all right, guys, into the video. All right, what is up, everybody? So Shadow Scout 0013 here, reporting in with Graham, Canadian Bear.
Hello.
And Anthony, the Chosen One.
What's good, everybody?
Yeah, and today we're going to mostly talk about this past year of tournaments, the number of units that were there, the battle force breakdowns, the amount of operatives, commanders, and all of those other things that were in there, to kind of see what was the most popular, which can also give you an idea of what a lot of people are bringing, maybe some counter lists, or just, see if the unit that you like is obviously, at the top and at the peak. And thanks to Canadian Bear, he did all of this the graphs and wrote everything down, and just absolutely blew my mind how awesome this was and how organized and great it looked. So I'm gonna have him kind of give everybody the information, and I'll just kind of cycle through everything for you guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it away to Canadian Bear. Let him take off.
Sure. And also, thank you to Anthony. He helped me uh, get a lot of these numbers in here too, so it was big help there.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
So we pretty much we looked at everything that was at least a 32-person tournament and was not a store champ. There may be a store champ that snuck in here at one point because it's coming out of France, and I couldn't tell one way or the other, but it was still more than 32. It was like 36 people. Um, so we started with Rocky Top and went all the way down to the most recent one in the Cologne World Open Qualifier, which is happening at the same time as PAX Unplugged. Uh, so we've, but with Rocky Top, the UK Games Expo, and the Big D Showdown, those all happen before the points change. So there's going to be a couple things in here that probably will be affected because there's going to be some pre-nerfed Blizzard Force. So there's going to be some Operative Vader showing up. And then he kind of disappears. So there's that. But there's also like it affected Shadow Collective a little bit in one of the listings. But we want to include them too because the themes still stayed the same afterwards. They were still a big showing to all those events, so they didn't really change a whole lot. It was just the lists themselves adapted. And so I think we were going to start with the faction breakdown or the
The number of units.
number of units.
Yeah.
Um, so looking at here, we've got uh, it's definitely a little skewed towards 10 and 9, but that's not too unexpected. The 9 slightly edges out 10, but we don't really know if, because we weren't doing this last year, how much this is affected by the pass mechanic. But it's 33.8% of the lists in the top 4 of all these tournaments, which we had 20 of them to look at, came to 27 of those lists had 9x, 25 had 10x, and then it starts to come down with 15 of the lists had 8 units. And with these ones, like we're not including, we did units instead of activations because Dark Troopers skew everything now.
Yeah.
And then there were 10 lists that had 11 units face, and then there was one list with 7 units, 6 units, and 14. And everyone knows that 14 act list.
Good old Ewoks.
Yep. Anything surprising to you guys in this? And I will say the 1 6-unit list is a Dark Trooper list. It's Palpatine, 3 Stormtroopers, and 2 Darks. So it's really 8 activations, but it's 6 units.
Oh yeah.
So
And
yeah, pull the strings in Dark Troopers. It's good.
yes, big time. The eight
You're good.
the 8 act lists, they're really good. I really like them, especially with the pass becoming very popular, and then with the 9 act and 10 act, it's the most safe and most comfortable. I feel like because you can definitely still get better objective play. I feel like with the more units you have. And again, if you lose a unit, you're still kind of like at least okay with most Republic lists and a few Dark Trooper lists, even though the Dark Troopers kind of benefit from going twice. But it's not surprising to me that we're still kind of in that 9 and 10 range.
Yeah, no, it's comfortable. Like maybe it's a little bit of a shift going down to 9 with pass, but I'm sure some of those 9s are also have like a Dark Trooper anyway, so like they're at 10 really. But, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see anything super glaring, especially with the past 2 points updates. I think it kind of just incentivizes. And correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it might just be my kind of opinion, but I feel like 8 and 9 we're seeing that because there's such more of an incentive to be red player, and so people are like, like I don't really mind spending the full 800 if I can get like a solid 9 or 8 rather than trying to go for a bid and like slapping in like a random unit that's not going to really do anything. But that's just based off of my experience, and kind of what I've played against. So I guess kind of agreeing with Shadow 8 and 9 is pretty comfortable. I guess it just depends on the faction, really. What do you think?
And
Yeah, I'm not seeing very.
realistically, we're gonna. Oh, go ahead.
So no, I don't think we're seeing too many low act Empire lists or Rebel lists yet. Hopefully, once there's maybe some more red saves for Rebels, you might see it start to come down because of Ahsoka and Cassian K2 trying to get some hero hammers in. But yeah, with Blizzard and with the fact that Empire still has some pretty cheap units, that you're gonna really mostly see maybe Republic kind of go down, and Shadow Collective probably go down to like 8-9x. But like I said, I think that's some of the most comfortable. 10 is even better in my opinion because I always shoot for 10 for Empire because they tend to do better with more. But that doesn't go for saying that doesn't work when there's Dark Troopers involved. So
Yeah, throws everything off.
yes. But yeah, I like 10 activations except for Republic. 8 seems to be nice. All right.
I guess we can move on to faction breakdown then.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull it up.
So as you can see here, it is, at least to me, it's not that surprising. It seems like it kind of stuck to like red saves are good, and then flavor from there. I guess we've got 24 for both Empire and Republic. We'll say Empire had an early lead, and then it kind of shifted towards Republic later on. And then Separatists were at 15 lists, Rebels were at 13 lists, and Shadow Collective had 4. Which, again, it's also not too surprising because it's going to have, like, less people have bought into it. It's much more restrictive, so you're already getting a smaller pool to pull from, and then they had to compete against everything else. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not surprising because before Blizzard, you see a ton of Empire, and then once Blizzard got nerfed, you see a lot more Republic because the arcs have gone down and are now cheaper. And then with Shadow, you don't have very many, too much variation, so you're kind of stuck with a few of the same lists, or just you're limited in what you can bring. And so it's kind of tough to keep bringing them. And like you said, there's not as many people who are bought into Shadow Collective because obviously Republic and Separatists came out way before, and a lot of people love the Republic, and then Empire and Rebels obviously the very first thing to be released. So yeah, it's not surprising to see this. And like you said, red saves definitely high priority.
Yeah, I agree. It's a pretty fair statement. I think the most recent points change kind of really affected Shadow Collective because I feel like I did see a lot more people running Shadow Collective or like spamming pikes, and you can kind of see that in some of the earlier lists. There's a lot of pikes in Gar, pikes in Rebels, which kind of makes sense because they all have dodge gimmicks. Clones can share tokens. Rebels just love dodges, and they can vigilance them, keep them. One thing I did find kind of surprising was there seemed to be a lot of like people taking regular Rebel troopers, and I'm assuming it's because of Nimble. But then somewhere in there, I guess after the vigilance up on the price and everything, like the use of regular Rebel troopers just like went completely away.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it was pretty much vets from there on.
And vets, yeah, with
So,
that fire support with Cassian or
routines.
with anyone like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and why not bring pikes in Rebels? Because I feel like they're going to be better in Rebels. They've got more support, more options to get support. But yeah, that's me. We can move on to the Battle Force breakdown.
So, again, this is a little bit skewed because we did include 3 from the pre-points, but it is still very much, I think, what is it? It would either, I think actually Blizzard would be tied with Wookiee Defenders if we didn't include the pre-points changes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they'd both be at 5, so Blizzard does have an edge there. Um, I didn't expect to see so much Remnant because no one talks about it, but I'm happy to see it there because I know it's strong.
Yeah.
um, I think Tempest just not enough people wanted to try it out, or they didn't know what kind they wanted to do with it.
They probably needed longer
Uh,
to figure it out because, like you said, PAX had a lot more Tempest
yeah,
Force there, and that was
yeah, there was 3 of them there. I think, and they were 2 of them were the highest ranked Imperials altogether. I think, or like 2 of the highest ranked Imperials.
Also, how many
Uh,
people own 3 ATSTs? Just saying.
well, that or it's the all the scouts.
yeah. That was
Which
the that was at that tournament. I
I've
forgot.
never used them, but I've heard people don't like the models. So
The models are okay. I feel like if it's just specifically the strike team, like I love painting the actual like sniper model because it just looks so nice, and I like detailing it. But everything else is kind of awkward. Like the Saboteur,
mhm.
it's I would agree that model's not the greatest. That model kind of sucks. Um, but everything else is fine. Like I don't see
Okay.
why people wouldn't like painting them. It's not like the rebels or like rebels are kind of meh to paint. They just have like zero detail on the face.
Yeah. I think what it was is just like it was like a mold issue. Like they were just not the best sculpts. But that goes
Yeah,
for a lot of a lot of the soft plastic ones.
all of their faces just look so sad. Like I don't know. It's just kind of I get to the face and I'm like, I wish you had a helmet. I don't want to look at this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but I think the snipers were a
Then,
very popular list at one tournament. I forgot what it was. Was it
I
ACO?
mean,
I don't
snipers
know
were
what
big
you're
at
talking
Worlds.
about.
World, yeah.
They
Okay.
won it.
That is true. The champion, the reigning champion, used some snipes.
Mhm.
I think the
Uh,
cover really started killing the use of strike teams.
yeah.
It was just kind of hard.
Yeah, that wound
'Cause you could
allocation
usually
thing.
cheat your. Yeah, I mean you could cheat it, and then you could like terrain snipe people, which I've been a victim of it, so I kind of can't really say anything. But I've also done it, and I'm like, get cooked. But whatever. It is what it is. But I feel like even if you're still like a confident player, you can still use them and utilize them, to the best that you can. Like it's like what? Like let's do Empire. That's like what 48 points with no upgrades on them,
I believe so.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 48 points. Most times it would get obliterated by something if I just misplayed it. But it was really good at pushing wounds through, and it's really good against things that can share dodges, like clones, because they can't spend any dodges, high velocity, and it's pierce. So it's good at killing things, but you just have to set up a shop for it. So,
Uh, and then Rebels, both of theirs showed up. I mean,
yeah,
Echo Base showed up right at the very end there at PAX, but they are both there now.
Yeah, Echo
Um,
Base and Bright Tree.
yeah. And 501st, I think that's probably the most surprising one. We kind of talked a little bit about it before the cast, but
mhm,
is probably most people just used it in the store champs, got their invites, and started experimenting from there. Because we know it's solid. It's just
mhm.
people didn't go far or take it, or the people that really knew it didn't take it to the big ones.
Yeah. I wonder why
Um,
that is. I don't know.
yeah,
I think
I
that
don't know.
weird
Yeah.
support, that random support, just kind of messes it up
Yeah,
for everything.
it really does.
Because it's like you could have really good order control if that support unit wasn't there. Because
Mhm.
with the 501st one I've been running, um, I have fives for better order control because I have two, core, and so the generic commander just directs fives, and then he coordinates to the other core. So I've now got fire support set up, and that hasn't even given out an order yet. And then the three pips, the one that gives you permanent indomitable gives it to three special forces. So the only ones in your bag are the commanders, but then you have a random support unit in there. And then
Yeah.
with his three pip, it gives it to him and two other units, so you can give it to 2 special forces, and then you'd have, or you can give it to him, the commander, and then the operative, and then you've already ordered all of your core, and then the only thing in the bag is basically like support, just your special forces because you give it to your support. So it kind of messes up order control. You got to figure it out, but other than that, I like the Battle Force. It's such a good one. Yeah, I'm surprised to see nobody really bringing it.
And Invasion Force, I think that's probably the least surprising one that didn't show up. It's just no one wants to do that and play that many games with it.
I don't know if anyone wants to bring.
It's not bad. It's not terrible, but it is so much.
Yeah, I think
it is.
especially the B1s, 8 B1s, having to paint those and then put them on the table and cohere them, and Grievous. But I'm sure we'll hear about Grievous shortly.
Yes,
but yeah,
we will. In fact,
just a preview. But yeah,
I think the difference also between like Invasion and Bright Tree is just you don't have to take the Chewy ATST. The ATST is good, but you don't have to.
It's a trap, honestly.
Yeah, the one that.
Yeah, and
the one that.
you.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I was just gonna say you don't have to micromanage as much in Bright Tree, in the same way that you do in Invasion, because you're bringing so many B1s and you're making sure that you can hand out the orders. Whereas the Ewoks are like, we're here, can't kill us, we're just gonna hide.
That low profile and dodges, way better. Yavin base. Dave? Wait.
Yeah,
Zelenka.
David,
Yeah. He won with just the regular Chewie and Han.
Yep.
He didn't use the ATST at all, which was really awesome to see. And the fact that he basically almost obliterated a whole Dark Trooper unit going last first with Chewie.
That's ridiculous. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that log trap card, the log trap card, last first with the Chewie, the impact, the pierce, all that stuff. Oh.
I hate that card.
I mean, it's scary,
so
but cover hurts it so much, so it's really only best into darks.
That's fair, but it's also like I kept playing one of my locals with the Bright Tree Village because he was testing it for what was it, Crucible. He went, I think he made top 8 with Crucible,
Okay.
Bright Tree Village, ATST, Ryan. Yeah, that dude was kicking for I don't know how many weeks. Excuse my language, but every single time I would bring something like with he kept using that card against my IG-88, and it was like, all that for IG-88? Are you serious? Why are you doing this to me? Like, it's one thing. Like, I don't understand. I get like a good shot with IG-88, and he's like, yeah, it's gonna die, and then like put 3 or 4 wounds every single time. I'm like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do? And then finally, one game I made like a random list, and turn 1, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this ATS. I'm going to dive right into it and break its incognito. And as soon as I did that, I think by the end of round 2, that ATSC was gone, and there was no cover for anything else to hide behind it, which I think is the biggest kind of micromanage that you were talking about. Like, you have to position it in a way where it's going to block a lot of your army, and it's just like you as the opposing player have to figure out a way to clip the side of it so where you're still able to see a few of the models. But then if you overextend yourself just a little bit, it's like a big trap to just break incognito. And they don't have to break it like anytime. They can break it whenever they want to. But if you can break it first and just sacrifice something, I think it's worth it. And the list just falls apart after that, which he learned very fast. And I was like, yeah, don't do that again. Don't overextend your ATSD, because I will do it again.
And then one last thing to bring up in this chart before we move on to units is there's a big difference between Wookiee defenders, experimental droids, and since the only other ones that have multiples are Remnant and Blizzard Force, there's none of the Wookiee defender lists or the experimental droids lists are a copy. They're all unique in some way.
Yeah,
but
I enjoyed
Remnant, the Remnant has a little bit of variety, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. And then Blizzard is win the points, and errata happened to Blizzard before and after, and an ATST one that shows up.
Yeah, it's almost
Yeah,
like a
that
copy
was about
paste.
it. Yeah. If you were to look at the actual list, it was like every time I saw it, I was like, all right, let me guess. 2 snows, 2 HRUs, 4 bikes, officer, invader. And then I look at him like, oh, it just doesn't have officer this time. Oh, okay, 1 less bike. Oh, just Vader. Everything else is the same.
Yep.
The only thing that was like unique was like a droid gear, repair droid gear, medical droid gear, random concussion grenade. Whatever.
Yep.
There's not that much variation inside of it.
Yeah, that's
But
really
anyways,
it.
units.
Units.
Yeah, we'll go with commanders.
Yeah. I'll say the most popular named commander is going to be Anakin. He's got 13 of the list had an Anakin that showed up in a top 4 somewhere.
Wow.
Other than that, the next 2 are both generics: Imperial Officer and the T series.
I don't think I'm very surprised to see that, though.
No,
It makes room for all
no,
of the
not at
other
all.
important characters.
The T series? No, I'm not surprised by that. Not at all.
Yeah, and
I was
the
surprised.
Imperial Officer.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that many. I can't remember exactly how many people took like a super tac droid, and I was like, wow, you actually made that work. There was one person that took a literal generic super tac. I think the other 2 were Kalani and one was Kraken. And I
Yeah,
was like,
there's
oh,
2. Yeah, 2 generic super tags, 2 Kalanis, and a Kraken.
yeah.
And
But how many T series?
10.
Yeah, exactly. All you needed to do was direct and get out of the way and bolster. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Yep.
Especially in a high activation, droid army, where all you need to do is start chaining the commands and comms relaying stuff. Like, you don't really need to do anything special. Same thing with the Imperial Officer. All he does is spotter, fire, move. You shouldn't be shooting. If you're shooting, something's gone wrong.
Terribly wrong.
Yeah. Or you're just down on axe and your dice just weren't dicing. And next thing you know, your Becky's in the middle of the field trying to climb a box, or else you're gonna lose. Been there before. It happens to the best of us.
And I will say, this is also something that wasn't really showing up until I'd say the last third of the year or the season is Yoda. Yeah, I think he was like in
Yeah.
1 list up until the last third, and then he jumps up to 7 lists.
Good lord.
Oh yeah.
He got very popular. Chewie was always, or no, I think he started showing up after Gen Con, was really what it was. And then Chewie was, it's either Battle Force or showing up with Yoda. There is a skewed number in here. We talked about it before, but we'll announce it now. Grievous. There are 4 Grievuses and a top 4 somewhere.
That's so
And
crazy.
granted,
Shout out
2 of them are the same guy who took the same list and had to skew our numbers. But the Polish be crazy, apparently. I want to call him
Six
up.
B2s, man.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna butcher his name, but it's okay. Artur Sindler. Yep. Brought 6 B2 hats, a Grievous, and a Magna Guard. And my goodness.
What did he place? Was it 3rd or 4th?
The first tournament that he showed up with that list, he was first, and the second one was second.
Oh wow.
Man.
Yep. So yeah, he did real well. Other than that, looking in here, like Cassian's popular.
Yeah.
Shadow
Only
Collective
one Leia.
Kappas. And that was the Echo Base list. And then a whole bunch of Vader. We got 7 Vaders.
Yeah. Shout out to the person who brought C3PO.
Yep. That Wicket list, or the 14 act list. Let's go.
Yep, I was
Yeah,
about to say.
C3PO, Wicket, Logray, and Han.
Yeah,
And I
Han
think
and then
also
Chewie.
Yeah.
Yep. Everything.
Yeah. I think one thing that kind of just I guess not really saddens me, but Count Dooku, like he's a really good character, but
Hmm.
like he's just so expensive, and they really messed him up with the choke. And I really feel like he needs to be brought down in points before anybody ever seriously takes him to a worlds or just any sort of store championship or anything. Honestly, I mean, I'm pretty sure if we look at the data for store championships, you
Oh
might
yeah,
see
he'll show up there.
a couple of Dooku's just because people probably are waffling about like I do half the time.
Yeah.
But like at a serious competitive level, like it's kind of sad. Like he's got cunning, I think, right? He's got what or 5 red dice.
Yep.
Does he have surge
And
crit?
5 black die range attack, right?
Master of
Yeah,
the
force
Force
lightning.
2,
He
I
has surge
think.
crit, right? Natively.
Yeah, surge crit.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some people that are very happy about this. But since we're talking about Dooku, it's only fair to note that there are more Jins than Dooku's.
I
There is
saw
a single
that.
Jin.
Yes, there is a Cassian Jin one. I was kind of happy about that.
I was like, who's bringing Jin? And for what?
It-
A range 3 courage level. I have no idea.
yeah.
I don't know.
That's the only thing I
I
can
guess
think
that you
of
could,
is the courage. Her command
or
cards aren't crazy.
just to infiltrate Cassian and K2. That way you have a commander because she
Yeah.
is a commander. And
Right.
so if you infiltrate with him, then she just becomes your courage 3 bubble, which I guess is okay. But Jesus Christ, I mean, she has
She
okay
has some
command cards.
interesting cards.
Yeah, has some okay command cards. You know,
She just has to
and
live.
yeah, she just has to live and just not get shot because if you shoot her and actually if you sneeze in her general direction, she probably might die. Honestly, she has danger sense 4, right?
It's either 3 or 4. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think hers is 4. But regardless, if she has 4 suppression on her, what are you doing?
I think
Get
it's
your life
3.
together.
Probably Danger Sense 3.
No, she's 4. Yeah,
Really?
she is danger
Yeah.
sense 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I think she's the highest danger sense.
Yep.
Take that,
She's
Cad.
not even a Jedi.
That's what you call plot armor right there.
Yes.
But yeah, shout out to them. No Rex, no Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
no Lando. I'll change that. I promise.
Yeah, it's not surprising to see no Rex or Obi-Wan.
Nah, it's not. Not anymore, at least.
Yeah, I guess we
Do you
can...
think? Yeah, I was gonna say, well, just real quick. Do you think that they're all bringing the Anakin because he's absolutely really good, or is it just because it fits really in the lists? Versus like the Imperial officer and the T series, they're just there to give out orders or to kind of like be a commander. He's a lot more like popular, but is it mostly because people want to bring him, or is it mostly because of the list like are focused around him? It's not a copy. It's not like Blizzard. Everyone's just copy and pasting. Darth Vader, 2 HRUs, Snows. But Anakin's different. So I just didn't know if it was like a popularity thing or it's just because you kind of have to bring him.
I would argue and say that you kind of have to bring him because he fully powered up, exemplar, defend 1, reliable 2, and he can share. In an army that likes to share tokens, and if you staple Padme with him, you have so many sources of generating tokens. And he might take a suppression if you don't attack with him. If he's just like a defensive Anakin with defensive barrier, and then he has Master of the Force, he can bring that back. He has a nasty. You put like saber throw on him to RPS that thing into somewhere. He has gem so even if you take a wound, you're gonna if you block anything, you spend a dodge token, you're gonna take a wound automatically. I just think for the points that he's at and the way that he fits competitively right now with Republic, it's kind of an auto include, which isn't necessarily bad because he's a good character and he's a good unit. But half the time you see Anakin, you either see, well, not either. You always see a clone commander, or if there's not a clone commander, there's Padme. It's one of the two. And half the time it's probably 5-0 because there's always that one phase 2 in there. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I kind of like playing against Anakin because it makes me feel all the better when I absolutely mollywop him and kill him like round 3. And I'm just like, take that, nerd. No more tokens for you. But if you kind of let it slip and you let him live a little too long, he will make your day not so great. So,
And
you know,
I think
it is what it is.
he's kind of the same thing as the T series and the officer, the Imperial officer. When you're looking at this,
Mhm.
he's the safe choice that unless you're going for like an all clones list or up until more people started messing with Yoda,
Mhm.
um, it was pretty much like he's your safe choice because the clone commander's nice, but there's a safer option in Anakin, especially after he got his card updates.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he's the only character, like named character, that has more than his faction's um, generic.
Yeah, I would agree. But hey, he
Um,
is the chosen one,
he is
So
the chosen one.
I guess it's kind of par for the course. I think his card updates are really really needed.
Mhm.
And then the 501st command cards are just amazing.
Yep.
So if you have him in a 501st list, which most of the time you do anyways, because what are you gonna do? Take Rex? Okay, I shouldn't say that. I got mollywopped by a Rex 501st one time, so I'll keep my mouth shut. But Anakin over Rex. I'll just say that.
Um, yeah,
Sick.
let's go. And I will say, like, if anyone's like noticed this that's watching this back, yes, like the units that are not currently out are listed in here. It's a simplicity thing, so I don't have to go back and change this again for at least a little bit. Um, um, so yeah, is pretty much Anthony predicted it. There's your Padmes, 8 Padmes.
She goes just
Um,
so well with everyone.
yeah. The next is the most popular operative faction though would be Rebels because they've got 6 K2s and 7 Ahsokas. So what is
Mm-hmm.
it? There is if you're taking there is one everyone that brought Cassian brought K2.
Yeah, surprisingly. Well, not
There is no
surprisingly,
difference there.
but
Um, there there is a Sabine.
yes,
Yeah,
I
She
thought
did
Boba
Sabine
make
and
it.
brought Sabine.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
If well, the Sabine did come with Ahsoka in that one.
Yeah.
It was a super aggro rebel trooper like Sabine Ahsoka list, and it's amazing.
I was surprised to see no other Mandos in there. No, like Special Forces Mandos. I think it was just all like core gunline.
There was
uh,
one,
there's
the
one.
Indy Open.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian Bear.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
Okay.
also the only one that took the fleet troopers, I think, if the numbers
Yes.
back that
Yeah.
up. Yeah. So
Yeah,
there
he
you
brought
go.
his Zombie Lorians list to that one and won the Indy Open.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, here's your 3 Darth Vaders, and you'll notice that there's only 3 because they are from the 3 lists prior to the Blizzard nerf, and he was never seen again.
So sad to see because, like we were saying earlier, he's good. I like the fact that he's
Yeah.
already got like a ranged and a melee. He's got Jedi Hunter, so he's gonna surge to crit anytime he's going up against a Jedi. So that I mean that's so much better in my opinion than Commander. But then Commander has an extra red dice already, 3 force slots, compel core. So it's like which one do you take? But obviously Blizzard Force needs that Commander Vader because it just works so much better.
Yeah.
it, it's sad not seeing a single Luke in here.
There's a
Um,
Commander Luke.
there's a Commander Luke,
There's one Commander
but
Luke.
no Jedi Luke. It's just like I know why he's not there, but it feels so bad.
It does because he's disengage is super nice. Being able to attack twice,
So good.
7 health, 7 black dice, surge to crit.
Uh, I love Yoda's 1 pip for doing the disengage. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and then you get like a taste of what Luke can always do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty
Besides
surprising.
that, um, whole lot of operatives and separatists. Got like 5 CADs, a Maul, 2 Bosks, and 4 Saj. I think. Let's see here.
7 Boba Fett's.
Yeah,
You got Boba Fett still at the top. Not the top.
Bill-
You know,
Bosk
like
is
one or
the
two Boba Fett
only
in
like universal bounty hunter that shows up in every faction he can.
there. Yep. Shadow Collective, Empire, and CIS. So
Yeah.
I like to see that. I like me some Bosk.
Yeah. But yeah, I can only imagine that it's going to get a little bit busier in in the Imperial side once we get those unfortunate siblings coming in.
Oh yeah, I am excited about
Uh,
that.
I know you are.
Yeah,
Oh,
I am
yeah.
excited to cry when they say no.
Yeah, whenever I
Um,
can deny any of your Force stuff, it's great. And there's one thing I keep seeing a lot of is everyone keeps building out the sister and brother with the Inquisitorious training, and I mean you can get that same effect. So I don't know if you, with one of the cards or with that one card you can deny every Force power with that one card. It's not like you need to double up. Now I can see if one plans on dying before the other, but at that point, like if they're both already far enough, you're going to benefit from that one. Plus, I also don't know if there's going to be 2 in the box. There's probably only going to be 1 of those cards in the box, so you're only going to be able to probably put it on one person unless you bought 2 of those boxes, or printed out another one.
yeah, that'll be interesting.
No,
I
I think
wonder
they
if
might. I think they might have 2 of them.
um,
That's just me being wishful, though. I don't know.
yeah.
Pulling AMG, they might be like, "Here's one, print and play, legal, go for it." Be like, dude, now I gotta print it. Man, I don't even have a printer.
You can use the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to my office and be like, "Yeah, whoever's on the second floor, do not touch that, please."
All right. And then it's nice to see IG88 in Empire. I feel like you're going to see IG88 over IG11.
Yeah.
I don't think IG11 is better than IG88, especially for Empire's sake.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. He has AI. He needs AI, man. Get out of here.
Right.
I don't know. He's a lot of fun if you bring him with Palp and Bosk, though.
Yeah.
And there's
He
an
is.
operative on the other side, and you're
Yes.
just handing
Yeah.
out suppressive everywhere.
Yeah. Suppressive or Pierce. Any one. I mean, I guess it depends on who you claim.
Yeah, who you
You're
bounting.
bounding. Yeah.
And it's also nice to see a lot of Den, or at least one Den.
One didn't.
Yeah. It's more than others, so.
That's true.
Um,
Hey, put respect on R2D2. He showed up once. All right.
well, think of it this way: the didn't show up till after the points changes. So if we were only going from new points forward, there would be more Dins than Vaders.
That's true. Yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Hey, man. Din is good. I think he's still good. I think after all of my playtime with him, Rebel Din needs to be like packed up with stuff in order to be very useful in Rebels. Empire Din needs like 2 things: his jetpack and his Ambam. Maybe you could do his spear, and also maybe if you've got the points for it and you're concerned about it, flame projector. That's it. That's all you need on your Empire.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's an expensive sniper, though.
mhm.
Hey, man, it's
He's
good
an
on
expensive
somebody named
everything.
Palp.
He is too expensive. I will say that, though. He is just a little too expensive.
He should be 110.
His upgrades, I should say.
His jetpack should natively be on there. I don't know why the hell that was ever a thing. I get that they wanted to do like a story kind of thing, but Old Man Boba should also still be speed 3. There should not be any speed 2 Mandos. It's stupid. What is he, heavier? Like, I don't. What does it matter? It's sci-fi. It's made up. It's make believe. Make him fly again. Damn. Also, while I'm on that rant, Bosk should
Yep.
have Sharpshooter 1. Just saying.
Then they'd have to redo his card, though.
Who cares? They're already behind on card pack 2.
I think he's fine. He's showing up everywhere, which means that he's useful the way he is. He's more useful than Den. And so,
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. But if you had
It,
sharpshooter 2, I guarantee you those numbers would go. Sharpshooter 1, those numbers would go up.
I mean, he's already more popular, so
yeah,
That's
he's good.
fair. I think it also goes without saying that. I just think all bounty hunters should have sharpshooter 1 or a surge to crit natively, which Bosk does, but
yeah.
he's a white health guy. Like, give him a
But
little
he's
hope.
also the only character in the game that heals himself.
That is true. That is true if you remember it.
That is very key.
It took me so long to remember. One time someone was like, "Hey, next round, make sure you regen because he might die if you don't." And I said, "Oh man, I was like 5 rounds in." Oh well. Oh
uh,
well.
That's something you need to remember.
Yeah.
should we go on to core?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So, um,
Drum roll, please.
one thing you're gonna see with this is there's a couple little additions in here that if you're actually playing the game, maybe they don't belong in here, but it's for like Battle Force sakes, it makes more sense this way. Um, and when we get to Special Forces, you'll see it too, especially for Gar. There were only melee Wookiees taken in Gar and only for the Battle Force. So
Mm-hmm.
you won't see any in Special Forces. They're all here. There were 17 of them.
Heck
And
yeah.
it's only been out for what it came out in the September, right?
Um.
Because it had to have been September
Yeah,
because
September.
Crucible was like a week after, and Kyler already had his his Wookiees ready to go. There's also a couple of the prototype Magna Guards. There was one in 2 of the lists out of the 3 lists. So they're over here. And got your B1s. There were only, what did we say, 15 separatist lists
Yeah.
compared to the 24 Empire and Gar, and they easily squashed everyone else with their 63 B1s. Next closest being Phase 1s with 47. Um,
Yeah. I mean, hey, for 38 points, give me 6
yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm. You'll also see here's the continuation of our skew because you've got your B2 Super Battle Droids. There's 17, and 12 of those are from one guy. So we got that.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's still like a decent amount of Rebel Troopers. There's 18 actually, which was more than I was expecting. Got 15 Rebel Vets and 12 Mark IIs. The 6 skirmishers from the 14 Act Ewok list. And then there's a whole lot of diversity in Empire.
Which I like.
Yeah, which says a lot compared to like the prequel factions. I'm curious to
Yeah.
see how the Geonosians are going to affect that for Separatists. If like how much that number is going to change.
I don't think it would affect it that much because I was kind of talking at the last store championship with one of my buddies, and we're kind of looking at the card, and they don't really bring that much more. I mean, they do bring more than a standard B1, but the numbers that B1s provide and the types of heavy weapons that they have access to at such a you know cheaper price range. Like, why would you, unless you're just doing it for a theme, why would you choose having more Geonosians over having more B1s? Which I get it. Like, you can have that free jump 3, which is good. So you could essentially use a jump 3, move, claim on a center objective, and then just water your way away, which would be good. But they kind of just die a little bit for kind of what they're bringing and the expense. I think there's only 4 in a unit for what,
Yep.
40 something points, 47.
They're 44, I believe.
44.
Like
Well, yeah, but if you take a look at that, you get 6 B1s. If you do a
or they're
Geonosian
45.
with a heavy, yeah, so 45 plus the heavy weapon is like what, 15 extra 20. So it's what 60 something points for a 5-man Geonosian squad, maybe around 50 to 60 points when you could get, you know, a 7-man V1 unit for about 40-ish, almost maybe 50 points with
I
just
mean,
6 V1s and the E5C,
I think
I mean, you
E5S
can
sniper.
do if you fully load out the Geonosians with the Force Pike and the Geonosian Warrior,
Mhm.
they're 71 points. If you do a B1 with the E5S and PK, it's 68.
We'll see. We'll see.
So I think you could probably see the number come down a little bit for B1s, where it'd be like you'll see more lists that are 4 and 2 instead of just 6. So you can have a
Yeah.
little bit of like you just hide the Geonosians until late game and then you just fly them down, like tap a VAP or something.
Mhm.
I think we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to probably see B1s drop, B2s go up, and the Geonosians go up. Because I'm sure once they figure out the objective play with the Geonosian Warriors, they're going to pop up, and people are going to want to start playing them. But it depends, I guess, on
It,
the height definition, what they
yeah.
mean by height.
Yeah, one of the 3 definitions that we're waiting on. But yeah.
I mean, they could be nice. I mean, you could jump 3, overrun them, shoot them, and then move.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
One thing in here that I'm curious about is why is there a single Imperial Pike?
You know,
I often
Of
wonder
all
that.
the things.
That's what
I
I was
saw
wondering.
that, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it was 1 or 2. Honestly, may have been one,
I know which
but I
one,
saw
like the
that.
list you're talking
Yeah.
about, but yeah, there's just
Mhm.
one. It's
Okay, I thought
it's
it was you because
so
I went through
weird.
everything and I was like, one. I was like, "There's no way," and I went through and I was like, "Maybe I'm just missing something." It's like I don't know, 1 or 2 doesn't really matter, but that's kind of weird. Also, shout out to the person who brought 2 Black Sun and a CIS.
Hmm. Yep.
I think I saw one that had 2, and I was like, I guess that's a better B2 with the red. Technically a surging red save
Yeah.
with the Vigo inside of it. So cool. Shout out to the person that brought the 1 snail tank. Jumping the
Yep.
gun, but shout out to you.
Yeah.
And I hope it
Yeah.
wasn't into the experimental droids because that one sucks.
Oh, it is.
Oh
That's the
god,
thing.
sorry.
Hey, he plays top 4. That's all that matters.
Hey, you know what? All right, I suck then. Sorry, I suck.
And then Shadow Collective, it's not too surprising, but it's 15 pikes and 6 Black Sun. So, and
Yep.
I will say too, I'll post the link to the charts and the data so everyone can look at them in the Discord.
Sick. Yep.
After this, and I'll wait till you post it, and then I can post it in there so people can see.
Yeah, because I'd rather
Uh,
we can post them in the Discord and maybe pin it. And that way, people who like if they want to check them out from YouTube, I'll leave like a link to it. I think I should say, but I want them to head over to the Discord, so we can.
yeah,
I'll just pin it in the Discord for
yeah,
everybody.
keep it in the Discord so people come.
Yep, it's exclusively there.
Yep. And what was the other thing? Oh, after LVO and everything else happens before like the actual like season ends, I'll throw it in here.
Okay.
Sick.
So like LVO, and I think there's another one in Germany or something like that that's
Okay.
happening around at the same time. So I'll throw those 2 in here, and if there's something else that I find, yeah.
Yes, the special forces. That one's going to be not so surprising.
Yep. Um, for Republic, there
Mm-hmm.
it's realistically it should be 2 strike teams and 18 Echo strike teams.
Yeah.
I was
two
gonna
two
say
DC-15 strike teams, and the rest are echoes.
Yep.
all echoes.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh,
Yeah. All
18
echoes.
Magna Guards.
Mm-hmm.
And these are like the actual Magna Guards, not the Battle Force ones now. Whole bunch of Rebel strike teams, a lot of them pairing up with the Cassie and Ahsoka list, or
Mm-hmm.
as like a 1 or 2 of kind of thing.
Yeah.
there's a couple Infernos. So all you Iden fans, which we forgot to bring up, but there were 2 Idens, and
Mhm.
they both brought Inferno. And then, no surprise, Scout Troopers and Death Troopers are big with the Remnant Battle Force. There were
Mhm.
4 Royal Guards, um, which is nice to see, honestly. Um, I didn't like the list they were in because they were Empire melee SKUs, and that sounds no fun.
What was that
Yeah.
list? Which one was that one?
It was a Dewback one, right?
there are we'll get to it, but there's more dewbacks than I was expecting to.
Everyone's preparing for
Uh,
Ewoks, and
yeah,
and
think so.
yep,
But none
them
of
and
them had
Wookiees.
flamers. That's the thing. You got to bring the flamer if you're preparing for Ewoks.
I guess so. I mean, you had Critical 2 on there, and you can always like just
Yeah,
new ways to motivate them and just eat them. So there's also that. And
Save some
um,
points
Armor 1, I guess. Cancel 1. Oh, I guess if the axe hits it, it's gonna get cooked. So I don't know, maybe.
because that could
Who
be
knows?
extra 15 points spent on something else. So it's maybe
yeah,
10 points
Yeah.
for each dewback instead of 5.
that's true.
But if you have
Um,
IRG with next to them, though,
yeah,
Mhm.
there you go.
and then there's Brian Baird's 3 Mandalorian Resistance.
Let's go.
Um, and this is also surprising to me. We had more, like, with having a list that was Jin, Cassian, and K2, because we didn't have a Cassie without a K2. There are no Pathfinders. That just feels wrong. with
Yeah,
Especially if Jin is involved.
you would think. I guess people just don't really care for them much. I don't know. They do a
They're
lot,
just awkward.
but I guess
Yeah.
they need some more heavies.
Yeah, they need generic heavy. They need um
Maybe another
what is it?
keyword. They only have like
Piston
3
needs to
keywords.
get the leader keyword.
Yes,
Yeah, he does.
and
Um
the whole recover is sucky too.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they're trying to be what Death Troopers are. So I kind of get the whole gimmick of it, but I feel like if they have Danger Sense 3, I think, or
Yes.
Danger Sense 2,
Yeah.
but Danger Sense 3, and they have Dauntless, so it's not terrible.
No.
So I've been in a situation where I've tried to kill a single Rebel Pathfinder, and they just always had suppression on them, and they just Dauntless to move to go away with the middle box, and I just could not do anything. He just would not die. He just wouldn't die, and I like they're good in certain situations, but I feel like they do need to have a little bit more heavies, the generic heavy maybe, and they have that both the name characters should be the leader,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Because Biston, I think he has the ion gun, right? Biston
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Darks is actually kind of good. If you can like wait out one of them to go first before you do, then you can just hop up on something and just blast it, and then it's ionized. And then the next one they have to do is one less action. So it's kind of a good shot. But if you miss that shot, which I have a couple of times, then they just die.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna make them better, but if they could have access to the saboteur and or some of the rebel trooper heavies, that would be cool. Like either the Z6 or the range 2
Even
impact.
more white dice.
Yeah, even more white
Hell
dice.
yeah. Hey, but they search to hit though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just
Yeah.
gotta make sure they get targeting scopes then.
Yes.
And some way to feed the memes.
With offensive push, maybe they're.
They should have independent
Oh, that would be really good because they are independent.
aim. Yeah, I mean, hey, independent aim dodge. Let's break them. Independent aim or dodge. Give them nimble and Danger Sense 3 and Dauntless. Dude, let's go.
Everything.
Let's break 'em.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
give them everything.
they need it.
Let's do another Gar Saxon card where there's no more room left to put stuff.
Exactly.
Give them precise 2 and throw targeting scopes on them. Let's go. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then let's see, we got ranged, the actual Wookiee defenders, and BX series commando droids, 6 of each, and they were only in the battle forces.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I think it was the BX's two of the three lists had three of them, and one had two because it was the one that came with the tank.
Yeah.
And then the Wookiees, again, like with the 5 list, there was kind of like a variety where some had, I think one had none, and then a few only had one, and then one had two. Like it was all over the place there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Maul did come. The one Maul did come with his probe droids.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Got to make use of them somehow.
Yeah. And there was also a single ranged Wookiee in Rebels, which
saw that.
is strange that there was more ranged Wookiees in Rebels than either one of them had melee for actual special forces.
Yeah, wonder what they were trying to use him for then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would have just
I'll have to
gone.
look at the list again to see.
Yeah, I would just would have
I thought that
rather
was
gone with the
almost
regular
bust.
commandos.
Yeah. But, hey, so they were there.
It's also sad to see no Mandalorian super commandos in there.
Yes.
That's so sad because they're so good, but if they need a lot of support still, but their firepower. I mean, range 3 is 2 dice. If you're trying to compare them to arcs, you have naturally always surging defense, so you don't have to share tokens. They have an independent aim and or defend 1, so you're giving them almost like token sharing, but they have it themselves. And then range 3 is an extra white dice compared to the arcs, and then range 2, is 2 blacks versus the arcs is black and a white, and then in melee it's 2 blacks, and then with arcs it's a black and a white. So it's like they're really good, and they even have jump 2 and impervious just like arcs. It's so sad that there's only 4 of them. I think that if there were 5 of them, we would see a huge jump in the super commandos.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play them.
You wouldn't want to play against them?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they'd be tough.
Fair enough.
No, because they have better heavies. They have the gunslinger, which is 2 black, 2 white, and they have the generic one that gives you cache surge, I think.
Yep, 2 surge.
Then you
No, it's
have
precise 1.
That'll be the marksman.
Okay. Well, the marksman gives you precise 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The generic guy gives you
one.
cash 2 surges, I think.
Yes, and the gunslinger gives you
Pierce.
lethal.
Yeah,
or
lethal.
Pierce.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lethal.
So I mean, I don't know. That's just me. And they have shields.
Yeah.
The shields need to come down in
And
price because it's not rechargeable. It's just 2. So it needs to be like 5 points. I mean, if you look at Sabine's, her shield is 5 points and it's rechargeable and it's shield 1. The super commando should have theirs at 5 points, maybe 7 at max. But
I think
you got
10 is
BX.
okay.
Yeah, but then you got the BX shields that are the same cost, and they're 2 shields and they have recharge too.
Yeah, so either put recharge on the Mandalorian ones, or make it 5 points.
I wouldn't mind having recharge on them, I guess.
I could see them coming down, but I don't know about down to 5 points because then prepared supplies feels overcosted then because it's 1 dodge that can't block crits unless you have situational.
Yeah.
But it works in melee where shields don't, so I don't know.
Maybe 7 then. Maybe 7.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can go to supports now.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
The ever imposing 74Z speeder bikes at 39.
I guess if you can take 4 units of speeder bikes per list, that's gonna exponentially grow so fast.
Yep.
Yeah. When I was putting the numbers in, I was like 4, 3, 3, 4, 4, 3. I was like, dude, this is getting ridiculous. Before I put any barks, like I think at the beginning of the year, like with all the Blizzard forces, I was like, dude, I'm at like 20 bikes and there's like nothing else. I'm just putting in bike numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the again with battle forces, no one took the regular fluttercraft, but there were 11 of the new one.
Mm-hmm.
All of the lists but one for the defenders had flutters in it. So
Mm-hmm.
They're good. They're just so good.
they're so good. Not a single one though had the bombardier. They were all the gunner.
As it should.
Yeah. If Ewoks become more of a thing though, it might start becoming bombardiers. Because low profile doesn't work with overrun.
Ooh.
Nope.
Okay.
Get bombed. Yeah, because it's not a ranged attack.
Yep.
I'm surprised there's no swoop bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, no swoops in anything.
But Shadow Collective.
there was.
There was. Sorry, yeah, there were 3 in the Shadow Collective. Yeah,
Yeah. See,
but
that's
no
good.
surprise that they weren't in Rebels or Gar. E-webs were only in the Remnant lists, but there were 4 of them. 6 duvaks, and it was 2 in each of the 3 lists.
Oh, nice.
But they were getting paired up with like Vader and IRG and stuff, and it was. I think one of them had Boba too.
Yes, one of them did have Boba, and I thought that was pretty fun.
But yeah, and then Ryan Solosky from Stabcast, bringing the triple tons with one of those FDs to PAX.
Nope, the one list with triple stabs. Let's go.
Yep. 2 droidicas. Again, that would be from the experimental droids.
They're actually not that bad in the experimental droids.
They're
Then the
good.
Surge with a B2 Droidica. Oh yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, it can be good for that, and it can also just be even more annoying for the stupid peekaboo.
Yup.
I'll say it again in case he does see this, but Corey from Inglorious Blasters played it very well. But oh my gosh, peekaboo tactics, no. It's so aggravating. You can't help but laugh at your own misfortune for getting the peekaboo done to you.
Man, B2 Droidicas, let's go.
Yep. And let's see, anything else? Yeah, FDs mostly got brought with the Ahsoka list, like the Cassian Ahsoka list. Capitalized on that range 5. 0 ATRTs anywhere, and 0 spiders too. That kind of surprised me that there wasn't like a 1 of or 2 of, especially because there were super tax taken outside of the battle force.
Yeah, I think it probably had to do with that points change at the beginning of the year. That kind of killed the momentum for it, and cover too.
Yeah, but I would have expected them still to come back more with the nerf to pikes.
Fair, but
that was the thing that scared them off initially. So
yeah, I mean,
well, now that also everyone's bringing
numbers don't lie.
Now that everyone's bringing anti-armor for those darks, I also feel like it's even worse for the spiders because they also have like armor 3.
Yeah, that's dumb. How does an ATRT have full armor but a spider has armor like that?
I'm sure
dumb.
that either might get fixed.
How does an ATRT have armor? ISP has armor 3. Sorry.
I'm sure that might get fixed, but if not, at least just give full armor to the spiders.
Yeah. It is weird.
Yeah.
That's really it for that. I mean, the only real thing to take away is speeder's good.
Yeah.
The 74Z speeder bikes. I'd like to see
any speeders. They were the most popular in each faction.
Yep, speeders and the barks. And I guarantee you that bark was all in 501st or just with the triple bark list.
Well, there were no 501st, so it was just the it was some like Yoda lists did that, some Anakin lists had triple barks. But yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yes. But yeah, flutters too are speeders, staps. The only one that doesn't is Rebels, and that's because their only speeder is a swoop bike. So
you still have to have underworld connections or allies of convenience to bring 2 swoop bikes in Rebels.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, you need 3, and that's why the Shadow Collective one, I feel like the The 3 swoop bikes are great. That overrun is amazing.
Yep.
I mean, you can go twice, overrun attack twice with them. If you have 2 bikes still alive, I should say.
Well, and that list that had the bikes also had the 2 buses and 3 Black Sun and I think Bosk.
Yes.
Good,
And I
good,
think one
good.
of the buses had the raiding party leader, so it gives
Yep.
everything demoralized, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really kind of like the
Alrighty.
only takeaway from there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like creature
So you just
troopers
go
do still
bird.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're still doing good.
Yeah. And last but not least,
I'm
the Dark
excited.
Trooper page.
I am excited about this one. There's only one spike.
We got 1 ATST, 1 Gav tank, 1 of the prototype snails, not even the good one. The 2 AA5s that we were just talking about for Shadow Collective, and then the 12 Dark Troopers. So yeah.
So it is still a good idea to try to counter darks. Was what you're telling me.
There were still darks later on, but they were mostly in the remnant list that started showing up later on in the year. Or they were in the like that Palpatine list that we talked about at the beginning, the 6-act list or 6-unit list. Yeah, the 1 ATST is Blizzard Force. The Gav tank is Raul's list from not from PAX, from ACO with his double darks and Gideon.
It's a beast to go up against.
What's that?
That's a beast to go up against.
Yes. But I still think I could have won that game. I know I made a mistake in that game.
Which was?
And I know what it was, so I learned a lot from that game.
What was it? What happened?
I should have just stopped going after his hostage and just worried about mine at the end there. I put Yoda too far out of position, and I was too committed at that point to turn back and secure mine because his one lonely stormtrooper refused to die.
Red die saves, man.
But that list, he only had his hostage unit on full, the Gav tank on full, and 1 stormtrooper left in one of his units. Gideon, both darks, and the third storm were all dead.
Wow. Wow.
So
how did he stay alive?
Good old dark.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well.
Wookiee bowcasters for the win.
Yeah.
Honestly, I played a game yesterday, like second time playing Double Darks. I could not, for the life of me, kill this tank. Like, for the life of me, it took me all game to kill one, and the other one still just would not die. And that was after being inside arc, impact, critical, with aims. It wouldn't die. It was a stupid saber tank.
Okay.
And that was even after like wasting R2's like repairs. It was so annoying. I think that last tank that I tried to put down was like, oh my god, I think the entire game I put, I don't know how many shots into it. It must have been like 25 or 30 saves. Because it had 5 wounds on it at the end of the game. And both of my darks were splitting up both of the tanks. Because my idea was, okay, like one round, I'll focus on one and it'll get low, and then I can just split the other one off and then have one finish it. And it did, but then the other one just lived. It wouldn't die.
Yeah, you wouldn't have liked the PAX list then.
What is it? Double saber, double secret mission?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I played against.
Oh, okay. It was the same exact thing. Okay.
Yes. I mean, I had I think I sent in one of the chats, I did a Cody Chewbacca 10-act list. That one actually did fairly well with it. I took out the one of the saber tanks round 2, and then like round 3, the other saber tank was just gone, and then I just was gunning down Padme and R2. R2 ended up living. Padme just died, so I was able to score on KP and have tied with the secret mission, but then I just completely obliterated it on kill points. So and both tanks were gone. So, and the only thing I lost in that list was an Echo Strike team.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag surges.
Echo is the only thing that dies, or he never dies. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I usually think my DC 15 one is going to die, but it actually didn't. It was the only one that was getting range 5 shots after Echo died consistently. And yeah, having that Chewbacca Guardian Cody and having Boyle with like 2 surges and a dodge, fantastic.
So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much everything we got from it.
So I think a few takeaways. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, we can go up with a few takeaways each.
Yeah,
since y'all especially made it. The Anakin is awesome, especially outside of the 501st. It looks like at the moment because there was no 501st, but he was in a ton of lists. Dark Troopers still very popular, still really huge. The operative, I would say, Padme is, I feel like, always going to be used, probably until we get maybe an Ahsoka, hopefully, as an operative.
Someday.
Yes. And Boba Fett is still good. Even with the points increase, people still like to bring him, which is nice to see and nice to hear. And then K2SO, obviously, is huge. I want to see some more Op Luke come back. I think he's really good, but there's no great support for him at all. And then with Core, obviously, Stormtroopers, I feel like a lot of them are bringing them with the HRUs especially. And Phase 1s, obviously, are the best and cheapest to bring in 501st. So at least there's not a lot of surges going around. B1s, we're going to see a lot of still, I always feel like. And then with Special Forces, strike teams are still pretty popular. Either to fill out extra activations or just for that extra Pierce. And then, Echo is, instead of saying strike teams for Republic, we'll just say Echo because it's mostly just him. And Magna Guards are still absolutely gross. They're so good. And everyone knows it, that they're bringing it. So you're probably going to always have to prepare and tech for that. Some supports, 74Z speeder bikes. Obviously, everyone's bringing speeder bikes. So if you have anything with sharpshooter or long range to kind of negate their closing in, it's probably going to be helpful. And like we said, speeder bikes of all, and or just speeders in general, seem to be very popular, probably because of that extra compulsory move for a bombing run. Because maybe we should have also done like objectives, like see what the most popular objectives played were. But that could be a whole nother list.
Yeah, that's probably going to be at the something else there, and it'll depend if we want to do it as the was taken with the list or what was selected.
Yeah.
Especially with the core troopers, I think you're going to see where the whole meat and potatoes of a lot of this are if you look at the core trooper breakdown and what they're actually bringing with them. Because I can say off of all the lists, there was always something that had impact or critical. I think in the early part of the year, it was a lot of impact. But now we're kind of seeing not as much sources of impact and more sources of just critical. Because I think having critical is a little bit better because it's all around good because you can get past cover if you're not shooting at anything that doesn't have armor. If you have impact, it's going to bounce off. So
yeah, and cover doesn't eat.
But yeah, I think
seeing or critical.
Yes, precisely. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of especially like in remnant lists, you can kind of see the breakdown of them. I think almost every single time a shore was taken, there was a mortar taken. Not always, but I think there was a lot of T21s in there in both storms and shores because I think both the T21s are good, regardless of where you have them at. But yeah, especially with like a Z6, I think you fire support somebody that searches your grid. There's really no need for impact outside of the regular RPS. I think having one RPS is fine, but that'd have to be something else that we'd have to break down a little bit more further to kind of see what everybody else is really bringing in their lists and kind of where the skew drops.
Yeah,
Um, and I guess one thing to look out for is if you include the French World Open qualifier. So this is going to be 11 lists from the end here, or 11 tournaments from the end here. Six of the lists in the top four of 11 of the last tournaments were super heavy, like melee skews.
That's
And
good to know.
that's not including the Duvak and Royal Guard, because I don't know which ones or like where they fell exactly, but it could be even more then. So being ready for some kind of melee skew is definitely something to watch out for.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Well, with Wookiees and Ewoks and all that other stuff, I feel like a lot of things are starting to turn melee, and or maybe I was gonna say FFG. AMG is probably trying to get more action in by creating more range 2 and melee focused units, because the Geonosians are all range 2.
Yep.
The Wookiee battle forces and Ewoks are all mostly range 2 or melee, and that's nice to see. Black Suns are a very strong range 2. Your B2s are a strong range 2, and hopefully we keep seeing more of that. But I guess you're just gonna have to prepare for melee. Just get ready for it, and armor.
Yeah.
That was a good.
Yeah.
That was a good.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Both of you did awesome in making this breakdown happen, and showing us what's popular, what people are bringing over the last year at these big 50+ tournament or 50-man tournaments. So yeah, hopefully this gives all of you guys a little understanding of what's popular and what people are bringing. Yeah, that's really what we wanted to show. And I just again want to say thank you so much, both of you guys, for creating great visuals for us and breaking this down.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah. I like seeing the end results, so it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like seeing numbers too. I'm a STEM guy, so numbers go burr.
Well, that is really it. I just want to say thank you. And any of you guys have anything else to say?
I'll say this. There we go. Let the Wookiee win.
You need to bring that as your totem for every game, for every tournament now.
Yes.
Maybe they'll shoot at Yoda instead of the Wookiees.
Yep, maybe.
But yep, that is it, guys. Yeah, and that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next video. So peace out on my end, and any other finishing. I don't know if there's any catchphrases. I struggle with this every single video. There's no catchphrase for me or anything.
I got nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win.
Not copyright.
Not copyright.
Copyright.
Yeah. Let the Wookiee with an extra engine. It's not the same.
Yes.
But
see you around, guys.
yep. See you guys.
See ya.